It is October 27th, 1962. You are aboard a Soviet submarine, B-59, somewhere beneath the Atlantic Ocean. The air is unbreathable. The temperature inside the hull has reached 45 degrees Celsius. American destroyers are dropping depth charges around you. Your crew has lost radio contact with Moscow for days. Your captain believes war has already begun. On the deck of that submarine sits a nuclear torpedo. It requires authorization from 3 officers to launch. The captain has said yes. The political officer has said yes. The third man, Second Captain Vasili Arkhipov, has said no. That single refusal saved the world. But what if Arkhipov had said yes? Historians who have studied the crisis closely, including Martin Sherwin and James Blight, have called October 27th the most dangerous day in human history. 13 days of standoff had pushed both superpowers to the edge. Soviet missiles were being installed in Cuba, 90 miles from Florida. American U-2 planes were flying surveillance missions. John F. Kennedy and Nikita Khrushchev were exchanging letters, each trying to find a way out without appearing weak. The American military was urging a full-scale airstrike. Kennedy resisted. Khrushchev was under pressure from hardliners in Moscow. Both men were trying to step back from a cliff. Neither of them had meant to approach. Then came the torpedo that was never fired. But what if Arkhipov had been overruled? What if the launch had gone through? The nuclear torpedo detonates near the American destroyer USS Beale. Washington receives the signal. Kennedy's advisors, many of whom had already been pushing for military action, now have their justification. Within hours, American bombers are in the air. The strikes on Cuba begin before Khrushchev can send another letter. Soviet troops on the island are killed. Moscow interprets this as the opening move of a full nuclear war. Soviet missiles, already armed and ready in Cuba, are launched toward the eastern seaboard. American ICBMs launch in response. By October 29th, historians like Eric Schlosser have calculated the major cities of the United States and Soviet Union are gone. But the destruction does not stop there. NATO allies are drawn in. London, Paris, and Warsaw are targeted. China, watching the collapse of both superpowers, faces its own internal chaos. Radioactive fallout drifts across Europe, Asia, and the Northern Hemisphere. Crops fail. Winters grow colder. What scientists later call nuclear winter descends over the planet. The modern world you know does not exist. There is no internet because ARPANET, built on American military and academic infrastructure, is never developed. There is no moon landing in 1969 because NASA does not survive. There is no fall of the Berlin Wall in 1989 because Berlin itself does not survive. The entire post-war architecture of institutions, alliances, and economies collapses in the ash. What rises from the ruins is something historians can only speculate about. Scattered governments in the Southern Hemisphere, Australia, parts of South America, and Sub-Saharan Africa become the new centers of human civilization. The North, once the seat of global power, becomes a contaminated zone. The geopolitical map of your world is redrawn entirely. All of it rested on one man, alone in a submarine, saying no. You live in a world where Vasili Arkhipov chose restraint, where he held his ground in a steel hull, in the dark, under bombardment, and decided that the weight of the world was not worth one act of retaliation. The torpedo was never fired, and so you are here, reading this, in a world that almost was not.